The Count of Monte Cristo's revenge plan progresses methodically. He enters Danglars' bank with an impressive air, claiming to deposit 10 million francs. Danglars is excited, his eyes gleaming with greed. Edmond informs him that the 10 million is in bonds, previously deposited in a Roman bank. Danglars is delighted but cautiously states it will take a few days to verify. Edmond requests an advance of 300,000 francs for daily expenses. Danglars hesitates, given the substantial amount.
Well, there are other bankers in Paris. No.
Danglars, no longer hesitant, promptly promises to deliver the 300,000 francs to his mansion that afternoon. Following Vilfort, Danglars has now stepped into Edmond's carefully laid trap. Vilfort, since returning from Edmond's mansion, remains anxious, unable to understand how the Count knows his secret. Madame Danglars desperately wants to know if their child is alive, as Vilfort had always told her it was stillborn, but Vilfort still refuses to admit his lie. Madame Danglars has investigated the mysterious Count of Monte Cristo but found nothing. Vilfort doesn't believe such a wealthy man could have been unknown before and must find a way to counterattack. If the Count reveals his scandal, he will be ruined beyond redemption. Meanwhile, Edmond's revenge plan against Fernand officially begins. He sends Jacopo to bring a girl named Haiti to the mansion. Haiti's father was killed by Fernand, and she was sold into slavery. Harboring intense hatred for Fernand, Edmond paid a hefty sum to free her, intending to use her to deliver a fatal blow to Fernand. Mercedes, since meeting the Count, has been distracted and preoccupied, puzzling Fernand. Albert brings news that the Count has deposited 10 million francs in Danglars' bank. Fernand becomes excited, as Albert is engaged to Danglars' daughter Eugenia, and Danglars is about to become the wealthiest man in Paris. Mercedes is confused, noting that the 10 million doesn't belong to Danglars. Fernand explains that Madame Danglars is involved with Debray, the Interior Minister's secretary, who provides her with inside information. Danglars can then use this information and the 10 million capital to make a fortune in the stock market. The servant Marie secretly notes Fernand's words and later meets with Cataris. It turns out Cataris has been involved with Marie to gather information. After passionate, Marie reveals the Danglars family's collusion with Debray to manipulate the stock market. Upon learning this, Edmond immediately goes to the telegraph tower. He drugs the telegraph operator's drink, causing him to pass out. Edmond enters the operation room and sends a pre-prepared message. As he turns the handle, the tower's arm panels change shape, representing different letters. The adjacent tower receives the message and relays it to the next station. After sending the false information, Edmond gives the operator an antidote, telling him he fainted from heat stroke. Due to the hot weather, the operator doesn't suspect anything. Meanwhile, Debray, receiving the false message, frantically informs Danglars to sell all Spanish bonds immediately, citing a rebellion and unrest in Spain that will cause stocks to plummet. Danglars rushes to the stock exchange, losing 100,000 francs after selling. He feels relieved, believing others without this information will lose more. Edmond appears at the exchange, and Danglars, proud of his timely action, advises the Count to sell his Spanish bonds too.
You're a lucky man.
You have to have foresight in this business.
And instinct, it would seem.
Yes, the two working in tandem.
Soon after, Albert brings Edmond an invitation to a ball at Fernand's house. He also brings news that due to the government sending an erroneous telegraph, many nobles have suffered heavy losses from selling stocks. Danglars is the most unfortunate, losing over 1 million francs. All this is within Edmond's expectations. During their chat, Albert expresses his reluctance to marry Danglars' daughter. Having grown up together, he and Eugenia see each other as friends, unable to develop romantic feelings. However, he can't defy his father Fernand's wishes. Edmond offers to help resolve this dilemma.
I'm going to help you in whatever way I can.
Concerning Eugenia? How? We'll see.
Despite his focus on revenge, Edmond can't suppress his longing for Mercedes and secretly observes her movements. One day, as usual, he waits at a cafe for Mercedes to pass by. He coincidentally meets the Morel siblings, Marx and Emma. Learning that old Morel, the shipowner who once cared for him, has passed away, Edmond feels melancholic. Emma mentions that her father received a gift from an anonymous benefactor when on the brink of bankruptcy, helping him overcome the crisis. He lived happily for 4 more years afterward. Edmond is comforted to know that old Morel spent his final years in peace due to his gift. Suddenly, a girl approaches Marx with a sorrowful farewell. Edmund recognizes her as Valentine, Vilfort's daughter, whom he saw at the opera. It turns out Valentine and Marx have been in love for a long time, but Vilfort insists on marrying Valentine to Franz, the young man who traveled to Rome with Albert. Observing this tragic couple, Edmund becomes thoughtful. On the day of Fernand's ball, Edmund invites Haiti to accompany him. He instructs her to suppress her anger and hatred if she sees Fernand, as the time for revenge hasn't yet come. Seeing the Count elegantly helping Haiti out of the carriage, Mercedes inexplicably feels jealous. After 15 years, Edmund finally meets his most hated enemy, Fernand, who framed him to steal his wife. Unaware of the danger, Fernand thanks the Count for saving his son. Upon seeing Fernand, Haiti confirms he is the murderer of her father. This is why Edmund brought Haiti here, while Fernand remains oblivious to how close he is to the abyss. As Vilfort prepares to take his family to the ball, his young son suddenly has an epileptic seizure, convulsing on the floor. Madame Vilfort immediately gives him the medicine the Count provided, which proves effective. She no longer doubts the efficacy of the Count's medicines, including the poison. At the ball, Danglars angrily accuses Debray of nearly bankrupting him with false information. He threatens Debray, demanding compensation for half his losses.
If you do not, I will put a stop to your little dalliance with my wife.
It turns out Danglars has long known about his wife's affair with Debray, but didn't care as long as he could make money. It's his extreme greed that has led him into Edmund's trap. Mercedes, as if guided by an unseen force, finds herself walking with the Count. She casually inquires about Haiti. Learning that Haiti is merely the Count's chemistry apprentice, she feels inexplicably relieved. Edmund asks if she's happy in her marriage. Mercedes, with a complex expression, changes the subject, saying she feels as if she's known the Count for a long time.
Who are you referring to?
I'm Miss Biron.
In truth, Mercedes already has an answer in her heart, but she dares not acknowledge it. Vilfort finally receives the inspector's investigation results. However, they still haven't found the midwife's whereabouts. The inspector, through surveillance of the Count of Monte Cristo, discovers he takes weapons training every other day. Moreover, the inspector finds nothing unusual in investigating the Count's background or sources of wealth. Vilfort, still unconvinced, orders the inspector to continue monitoring the Count, determined to find his weakness. Catullus, unaware of being followed, enters the Count's mansion as usual to report gathered intelligence. Only when Edmund warns him does he realize two plainclothes detectives are tailing him. Jacopo, with his keen sense honed from years of smuggling, had already detected their presence. In Paris, only Catullus and Jacopo know the Count of Monte Cristo's true identity. They are Edmund's sole vulnerability. He instructs Catullus to stop coming to the mansion, with Jacopo to act as an intermediary for message delivery. Edmund realizes Vilfort suspects him, and these watchful eyes are likely his doing. He decides to advance to the next phase of his plan. He dispatches Jacopo to Rome to find the bandit leader Vampa. Edmund once saved the life of Vampa's cousin, and now he demands that Vampa come to Paris to repay this debt of gratitude. Another act in Edmund's carefully orchestrated play is about to unfold, and this time he will unleash a storm across all of Paris.